Look, I think guys' standard first rate is how good you look. Like
Okay.
that's 70-80% of the job. So I think you guys are barely cutting it,
Yeah, I
but
know.
you're over it, right?
Means if he has generational wealth, he doesn't want to pay for my nose job, then that's the bits. Hi guys, welcome back to Moment of Silence Pod. I'm Sakshi Shivdasani.
I'm Naina Bhan, and today we have.
I have to introduce myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Come on, do your job. My name is
This
my name
is
is
part of our
Prakhar.
format.
Hi,
Prakhar.
how are you? I don't know if you've seen me around. You've seen me
Three.
laugh probably.
Three podcasters,
okay.
three podcasters in a room. They might have a lot of opinions.
Welcome to Bombay. Welcome to the podcast. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. I'm very excited. I think you guys are very good at your job. I think you probably, it's a sort of myopia we ourselves have as artists, but I think you don't realize how good you guys are at your job. It's very entertaining to watch you.
Artists. I like artists.
Yeah, when you said artist,
you.
suddenly I felt so
Influencers
good.
and content like, मैं artist मैं?
Yeah.
You talking about me? Fuck! I don't look at myself like that.
I'm telling you, I thought I was a creator.
Do you call yourself a creator, influencer, podcaster?
I call myself a podcaster.
Okay.
Because I can barely do Instagram or any other platform yet. I can barely do video. Other than talking, I don't think I have a lot of video talent.
That's-
So, yeah, I don't think.
No, stop.
But you were saying Bombay is feeling a little hectic. Why are you feeling?
Yeah, I can shit on Bombay all day. I think it's a soulless city, largely. I think people have lost their spirit between broken roads and money to be made and people to be fleeced. And so it's always very satisfying to the spirit to be here and watch what will happen if you come here. That's my
Okay.
general opinion of Bombay. But I say it as a joke. Like
Yeah,
it's not
yeah.
that serious. Yeah.
Oh. Oh,
Like
no.
it's not that serious.
No.
It's more stuff I talk to myself about in private.
I have to say that, like, being from that side, moving to this side, and giving it some time, I think it's a really like brutal city. But when the more time you spend here, and the more you understand the way this system works, especially in the kind of line that we are, it's a very fruitful city.
Believe you on that.
But what is home like?
Well, just to finish off that, I genuinely think Bombay people are way better. And I think the infrastructure, I don't even want to say infrastructure, just like the condition of living that I have back home is way better. I like the space. I enjoy the fact that it's not always honky and traffic jammed. I'm not even in central Delhi. I'm
Yeah.
this tumor that rests on top of Delhi. Faridabad's.
I know Faridabad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
all sort of like an armpit for extremely wealthy people who don't want to or cannot afford to live in New Delhi for various reasons.
Right.
Okay.
So it's an interesting town, very quiet. I really enjoy my time with my family. That's something I missed for a long time. I stayed away, I
Yeah.
did whatever. And now that I'm back, one of the best feelings I have is returning home to my dog.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, thank God. So that part I really enjoy. I enjoy friends I've known for 30 years, like
Yeah.
all my life.
Yeah.
My best friend lives right across the street and he's lived right across the street for 28 years. So that part I really enjoy. Apart from that, it's whatever.
And how do you get guests to go to Faridabad because they don't even come to Andheri?
Really? I think it's a
Yeah.
very Bombay thing.
Yeah.
I've almost never had trouble with that.
Bombay guests come to Faridabad as well.
When they're in Delhi, yeah.
Oh, love to see it.
Yeah.
No, we don't even get people in Andheri.
Which is such a strange phenomenon.
Yeah.
It
Where
is.
do they want to do it? In Bandra?
I don't think they want to do our podcast.
I'm just in the DM, resting in
Yeah,
the
like,
DM.
oh, they don't want to come. I've never asked them.
Yeah, it's an awkward truth that we're trying to make peace with.
Yeah.
But it's okay.
Yeah.
Well, what are all your school friends up to? What are all the guys up to from your batch?
Most of them are very wealthy owners of generational businesses.
Are they single?
A lot of them, yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Are you looking for a good-looking guy?
Yeah. Are they
Let me get
good
a picture of
looking?
you. Yeah.
Listen,
Dude, I know some
You know-
really good guys if you're looking.
Can I please tell you, every time someone's like, oh, I have the perfect guy for you, and then they show me a photo, then I realize that they actually think I'm ugly. Like, based on the person that they're showing me. So I really, like, I'm having a decent day, I'm not having a great day, so don't show me now. Show me off camera.
Let's
I
just
can
talk.
cry.
Oh, okay, okay.
I can cry in
Okay.
peace. I can cry in peace.
Let's
And
just-
he
No,
I was
pulled
gonna-
it up.
Huh? Yeah. No, I think it's very interesting because now we're all about the age where we're getting married. So
yeah.
choices are like, it's no longer this infinity into which you're dating. It's like, decide for yourself now. So a lot of people are settling down.
Settling down, he has said, looking straight at me.
Is there a difference between the girls that they dated and the girls that they're settling with?
Yeah,
And
it's
what
very
would,
possible.
What would that be?
I think guys begin to think about what it would mean to bring her home, which is very different from what it would mean to take her to a hotel room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so how they think what their parents will like becomes a huge factor. Like, I've had very intense, generally what women don't think guys talk about kind of emotional conversations with my friends. And particularly about relationships, because I'm settling down and they'll ask me, okay, what do I do? How do I think about it? I feel like everything's working for me. And for a lot of these guys, over 6 feet tall, jacked, rich, well educated, everything's going for them. But the girls they date never stay around for more than 6, 8, 12 months.
Why is that?
Could be for a variety of reasons. People have complications with intimacy. People have complications with like forming long-term trustful relationships. It's not guaranteed if you date, you'd find somebody to marry.
Yeah.
Right? And it's not guaranteed anywhere. Like even in the West, I know a lot of people who got married 3 years ago now getting divorced. This is their first
Yeah.
one. Because that's the only out into a marriage there. Is you fall in love and then you do it. Here, sometimes your parents enforce who you get married to, and that causes a little more stickability.
Yeah.
But so a lot of these guys are asking these questions, and you start to get into their heads. It's very interesting. Like I had asked one of my friends, I was like, Kamkar, make a list of qualities you want in a woman. And he gave me 20 items.
What are they? We want to know. Asking for some friends.
I'm fucking sad. And I like the
Yeah,
pitch because
let's
I'm like,
go.
this guy's come from Faridabad. I'm asking him, तुम्हारे friends को क्या चाहिए?
No, I want to know because I mean,
Yeah.
we often get told that we're unmarriable. So I'm just trying to see what
Who's
where
saying
is-
it? Who's saying it? You know?
Doesn't matter, but I'm saying,
In like comments or in
Comments.
oh,
Means-
comments. Okay.
So
I thought
my mom-
interpersonally.
babe, no one has the fucking guts to say that to my face.
I believe you on that.
Yeah, not even my mother.
I
And
just
she knows.
said, my mom would straight say it to my face.
Not my mom.
Yeah.
She knows her place. No, I'm kidding. I love you,
Now-
mama. Yeah, so the question is there some overlap in the qualities that I may have with these dream qualities that these boys 6 foot tall, generational wealth are looking for?
Generational wealth, the height is, we're adjusting people. Depending
We'll
on
make
the,
peace with 100 crores.
Yeah.
Who's fighting 100 crores?
Yeah.
Come on, dude.
Listen.
It's not 1,000, but it's 100.
I would have made
100K is
peace
5'10" is fine.
But
5-10 crores?
5'10" height. For
Oh,
100.
5-10 is okay.
never compromise on the crores. Only the inches.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Look, I think guys' standard first rate is how good you look. Like
Okay.
that's 70-80% of the job. So I think you guys are barely cutting it.
Yeah, I
But
know.
you're over it, right?
Shit.
Means if he has generational wealth, he doesn't want to pay for my nose job, then that's the bits.
No, I think the way I think the way he'll be like, okay, whatever, I'll pay for a nose job. It's like how
That's
many lakhs is a
amazing.
nose job?
Like few, 3, depends on the country.
Damn, you really know this shit, dude. That's so weird. So I think, yeah, looks. I think number 2 is legitimately how well they think you'd have babies or adapt to their family.
Bro, it's fine.
Wait, those are two different.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about
I
family
have very
orientation.
good baby making capability.
What the fuck?
But I think guys begin to filter that, which they're not thinking of before.
Yeah.
It's okay to be with the
Yeah.
crazy one before, but now that I'm getting more serious, I want somebody who I can think to raise a family with, who'll talk properly to my parents and so on, especially the generational wealth kinds. 'cause
Yeah.
their wealth is guaranteed through their parents, so they don't want to piss them off. That's a huge object of control in their heads.
I do feel like there is some sort of trade-off. Like you can get like the generational wealth kind with who doesn't really have to go to office every day. You can take trips
That's
with him.
most of them.
Yeah, but you also know that at the end of it, he can't advocate for you with his parents. Like you
For
have you're
themselves
their
also.
bitch, like
Yeah, yeah.
basically.
I
yeah.
feel like in India, the prenup should be between father and son and not between husband and wife. Like, I should be guaranteed this much wealth from your business, so I'm not dependent on your manipulation to what I do with the rest of my
As
life.
a father, I would not be okay with it. As a son, I would be like, let's fucking go.
You know, there's no prenups in India
I
at
know
all.
there
Yeah,
are no
yeah.
prenups in India.
Yeah,
You
so
think
you
I don't
can't-
know the system is flawed?
Dude, you really know a lot about all of this, man. It's very worrying.
Sir, थोड़ा तो काम करना पड़ता है.
But हाँ, मतलब
Okay, wait. Sorry.
Yeah.
So they wanna not go with the crazy one, in your words. So do they not get bored with the safer bet?
I mean, what are you trying to do? Have them be your entertainment?
I mean, if you're in a relationship,
No, I think I can speak for myself. My life's very entertaining work-wise. I want to go home not to entertainment. I want to go home to chill, to relax.
Yeah.
I want to go home to boring. Like, I don't want my dad to do something new today when I
Right.
go home. I want him to be the same guy I met last week when I left Delhi. That's what
You
you
met
think
your
about
dad
family.
last week.
Yeah.
shut up, yeah. It's a dumb joke.
Okay,
Yeah. So wait, one second. So what does a boring like marriage relationship look like? What are those qualities? So you come home, your wife is just staring at the wall.
Lobotomized.
One of her wrists is like this and you don't know if it's slit or not. It's so
Just
bored.
tell
She's staring into the abyss.
So tell me, what are the qualities that say that you're boring, that differentiate you from being entertaining, that differentiate you from being crazy?
Okay, I mean, I can speak about it again in my, because we started this conversation about the qualities my friends listed out, right?
Yeah.
And so I was going
Yeah.
over those items.
Yeah, we failed all three. Let's move.
Yeah, no,
No, I think you made the cut on the first one.
Oh,
Really,
thank
girls,
you.
really.
Thank you.
Thank you. But whatever. 1 out of 3 is not a good score. I know that much math. So let's move on from that. It's fine. No Farida boys. Faridabad boys for us.
About what is entertaining and what is boring and what is crazy, I think any whimsicality is untrustworthy after a certain point, right? Like if she's sending you hot and cold.
Yeah.
So like, you know, it's the same for girls, I bet. Like if you're very hot and cold, you don't know if I can rely on this one.
Yeah.
I think that entertaining, frankly, guys, when they're in love, they just find this dumbest thing entertaining about their women. Like, it doesn't have to be anything grand or whatever. Like, I don't need jokes, particularly. Even cloud painting for 9 hours and not taking a break. I'm like, that's so cute. That's so amusing. You literally stared at a wall for 9 hours. You had a brush in your hand, but you literally stared at a wall for 9 hours. I cannot sit for 20 minutes. So it becomes very weird how and what you start finding interesting about the other person as you get more into them.
Right.
So entertainment is a function of liking somebody, not the other way around.
And do you feel like there's a difference between you and your friends back home because you had that experience of
Living
coming
abroad?
back? Yeah.
Most of these guys also will go abroad for a couple of years now.
Okay.
Because all this money, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
You have to burn it in some Manchester University, some Leeds, this, that.
But I wonder, like, anyway, and when you move from school to college, there is a little bit of your first bubble bursting in terms of what you thought was normal.
Yeah.
Like, you would have had a really big one. Did you have any kind of experience?
What college did you go to?
I went in Bombay only, so I've never left the city.
Have you left a pin code?
I have.
okay.
Yeah, 3. Thanks for asking.
She's traveled.
But
So
in
well
the-
traveled.
in the suburbs. No, but I will say like most of the guys I've dated have not lived in India, and that is like it ends up being something I gravitate towards because I can't do like the hectic generational wealth type because see the thing is my job is online. So even if I go to someone's house and I'm like very sweet, very nice, they have footage of me talking about nip slips on the internet. So I know that comes with that kind of thing. So I need like a person who can advocate for me, like, and it's like, oh, this is her work, this
Right.
is what she does. Because tomorrow if my own parents, if they tell me like don't do this job, I'll be like nice talking to you. Someone else's parents, I'll be like, oh sorry, who gave you permission to
Yeah, I know
speak
what you
to
mean.
me? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and this I'm realizing is a slight issue. I've known somebody not from my city who was in love with somebody else, and there was some obstacle to the effect of the girl liking to drink. And he couldn't advocate in front of his family. And that just ended that relationship. It was like many years of them dating and they were on course to get married. It was just this one blocker.
That happens a lot. Like, at least I'm sure you also know a lot of people that have been together for years. And then finally, when it comes the time to get married, it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you'll have to live with my parents and they don't eat non veg and they don't like drinking.
Yeah, there's an asterisk. You cannot wear swimsuits. You cannot wear clothes that you wore the entire time you were in a relationship. Yeah, drinking is suddenly illegal for women to
Yeah.
do. Like,
And my thing is like, if you knew your parents were like that,
why did you keep me here?
we could time pass.
Right. Or if
Yeah.
you should have been able to fight it
Yeah,
off.
one of the two. Like, pick
And
a
like-
battle.
And frankly, I think you should scandalize your parents so hard that everything else then falls under the normal category.
Yeah.
You know, but I see, so I think that women, just by being born, women are scandalizing their parents every day because your interactions, whether you like them or not, the minute you hit school, you hit puberty, you're sexualized.
Mm-hmm.
So that whether you want to scandalize, you don't want to scandalize, you are suddenly
And I feel
an
like
object.
as a guy also, raising a daughter is very tricky. Like I don't want to really think about where my sister is or where my daughter is in that father or but like how do you not?
So I'm just saying in
Right.
that situation, like when boys also scandalize their parents, like boys could be drunk driving, doing really
Stupid,
irresponsible
irresponsible,
things,
illegal things.
But the moral weight of that still falls on. अच्छा, my son's crazy. अब इसके लिए तो बहुत ही simple लड़की ढूंढनी पड़ेगी जो who can keep him in some kind of reign and control. Why is it still on her? Like why is it
No,
not
it's actually
the...
on sex. The only thing that will fix a
Yeah.
bad boy is good sex. That's what your dad's trying to say in that.
I thought you meant like sex as in gender. I was like, yeah.
Are you saying sex and gender are the same thing?
No.
Means I'm not smart enough for that conversation.
Okay. I
so-
didn't know what the ethics
No,
of this
no, no,
podcast
no.
are.
No, it's
So let's
okay.
see what happens
So
if I
what
say-
does a
No.
Farida baddie look like?
I don't know if there are any, frankly.
I can't.
Did you think of this before? Like last night,
Right now.
I amuse my own self.
Farida baddie. She comes home at 5 p.m.
Bro, I would
She
love,
has no other option. Does she want to stay alive or what?
I would love to be a Farida baddie,
like-
whatever that means.
The sun is on this side. I should rush home.
When the sun hits Tughlakabad fort, it's time to run back.
When the metro is midday, you need to go home.
When you can't hear the shooting range shoot anymore.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I don't think there are any Farida baddies per se. I think they're all extinct or they move to
Extinct.
Bombay or Bangalore or some shit, dude.
And then they come back home.
With a
At
septum
some
piercing.
No. I don't know what happens to them really.
Yeah.
What do you do in Faridabad for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
No. I think with small cities with very wealthy people, the houses are palaces and you
Yeah.
build an ecosystem around it. So one of my very close friends has a private theater that's 60 people, maybe more, some vintage video games. He uses it as a cigar club.
Nice.
So it just becomes a perfect, all guys get together, hang out there every evening. You get a lot of time to do sports and whatever. So you have your hobbies that you can channel into. But there's no other place per se to spend your money. So we're never distracted by eating out. There's never really a question of, let's go eat out. None of that's really happening. And as a matter of fact, what do you girls do in Bombay to have fun?
We do Pilates, we get matcha,
There's a
Do
lot of Bombay,
sleepovers.
lots of things.
Yeah,
You can
that stuff is
shop,
overlapping
Yeah.
with every
You
city,
can
right?
shop, you can go like cafe hopping, you can go drinking.
you can walk
go-
on the road at like 11:30 at night.
Sure, that's so
Yeah.
entertaining.
It's like such a high level concept. I have just about figured it out.
Naina's
me
mind
several
open.
years.
Like the first time we were hanging out, she was like, "Okay, you gotta go. The sun is setting," and I was like, "Babe, you don't." Her mind open.
Yeah, I get
It was
it.
amazing.
But even in New York, I mean, 6-7 years, after 3 or 4 years, I don't want another club. You know, you just flatten
Yeah.
out and you start thinking. I never thought I'd be done with traveling the world and going to cool parties.
Yeah.
But it just happens very quickly.
I'm slowly falling into the mind of what Bunny and Ye Jawani Hai Diwani was saying.
I can't even differentiate. It's all Ranbir Kapoor
like-
movies are coming of age. So I
Yeah.
don't know what he was.
But
Bunny's which one?
that Bunny's entire thing of like, I want to travel somewhere all the time is basically a digital nomad. And I think that's such a boring way to travel. Like, I do agree with having like a base somewhere.
Yeah.
And then like just going short trips and back home.
That's a European fantasy. Because you can live in Europe and do all these cities in 2
Yeah.
hours. Nowhere else can you really do that. And how
do
long
that
have you
in
been on the
India.
road?
I come back from everywhere in 5 days.
5 days.
I
And
can't-
have you done longer trips? I know
2
you went to
weeks.
Mexico. That took like
That was 3
days.
days and that was 4 days travel.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
Yeah.
But I've done a lot of backpacking.
Yeah.
And I've traveled alone for more days than I can count. And it also flattens out very quickly.
Yeah.
I think backpacking, hot take, I think it's just something that men do to sound interesting.
It's possible. I was also
Yeah.
19. I blame
Okay,
myself.
yeah.
But no, it's also when you're broke. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm traveling from New York to Colombia and I have to spend 8 days, I definitely don't have $5,000 to burn for this.
Right.
So you have to do it in like $800. You have to stay in $12 hostels and you go through it and you realize it's whatever. Like,
Yeah.
You want to say something?
No.
I was going to say that when you were dating abroad, what were like fundamental differences that you felt between like women here, women there, or certain conventions that you may have had that kind of broke or became concrete?
so I dated twice, and they're two very different people in that. One of them was more white, more like, your Caucasian American fellow. This one's Mexican. And Mexicans are practically Indians who
Yeah.
drink.
Yeah.
That's really the large difference. Indians with tequila
Yeah.
is Mexicans. So with her, culturally, it's very similar. Family, God, this kind of stuff. Like we are very on the liberal urban side as Indians.
Yeah.
But it's the average everywhere else in any metropolitan city, right? So you relate to them on that level, no problem, no issues. I also have not dated an Indian girl since I was 19.
Oh.
So it's very hard for me to draw a parallel because at 18 years of age, your dating life is very different. Your expectations are very different. So I don't know what a standard Indian date looks like at this point. I've been on some
So you
dates.
bring
in the
your
middle.
parents, they bring their parents.
Right, yeah, right. No, that was never going to happen with my family. I scandalized them way too much for them to ever consider getting arranged.
Bad culture.
But okay, what about your friends? I mean, I'm sure you guys chat. Like, did the experiences seem very different?
Yeah, sure. मतलब किसी भी relationship में, with her, with Clau, the unique thing was that she was getting out of many years of towing the line, getting good grades, going to a good school, getting a good job. She'd finally arrived in New York. I was getting out of my bad boy era where like scandalize your parents, go travel everywhere, have your raves and parties and travel the world solo. I was getting into a more let's stabilize and work era, and she was getting into a let's explore and see what the world is. Let me be more courageous about it. So it was very interesting watching another person flower. Like that's, I think, such an understated, beautiful aspect about my relationship. I saw her first art show and I saw her be the star of a room. And to see it from a distance, something that guys like us can be very used to because, we are whatever famous in that way. But I'm watching from a side and people coming up to her, congratulating her. She's selling her paintings. I remember when it was a dream. I remember when she bought her first canvas and painted it in my house. I remember deciding on that apartment because it was big enough for her to paint and me to do content. And for that arc to now be I think she's doing a huge show in Mexico City in August or September and then some in Delhi. That was insane. Because I'm a very courageous guy, decently provided for. My father's an overachiever, mother's an overachiever, brother's an overachiever. At best, I am the dark horse in the family and I'm doing well for myself too. Nobody's ever surprised when we do well, right? I was never considering कि मेरी life hard है. But then you see her life shape up like this. And I see it with some of my friends. As a matter of fact, this t-shirt I'm wearing is one of my friends who's built this up from scratch to a multi-crore business in a few years. That part I have such a kick out of.
I think that's the kind of relationship that a lot of us really don't have active examples for in this country. It's
Yeah.
that true sense of companionship where both people are bringing power to the relationship, and then when you have that as a foundation, you can really leap and go
Yeah.
so far.
I had a great example in my parents.
Yeah.
मतलब मेरे को तो 1920 में समझ आने लगा कि सबके पेरेंट्स की नहीं बनती. Imagine having that, and then I realized the numbers like 80%. 80% of my friends don't have their parents who are compatible. And my father defended my mother with so much vigor, and my mother defended my father with so much vigor that it was very natural for me to have this kind of great relationship. All the girls I've ever dated have been great relationships. Some of them ended, and it's their fault, obviously. But they've been great relations.
Yeah.
Do
I
you-
was just thinking, I was just wondering whose fault was it. Thank you for clarifying.
Do you sometimes feel like when you see your friends and some of them maybe not being able to advocate for their partners in front of their families just by virtue of the business family setup, do you feel like a little bit of a failure in that friendship?
Nah, yeah, see, think about it like this. 30 years down the line, when they look back, it won't even be a thing they remember, generally speaking.
Okay.
And neither will the girl whose heart got broken or vice versa, who guy whose heart got broken.
No, I'm saying even if they're married, there are many times that, like, in that setup specifically, also, that there is a very heavy expectation on the woman. She does make a big transformation
Agreed.
into a wife role.
Wife, daughter-in-law,
Yeah.
like now part of this family. It's a huge
Yeah.
movement. Yeah.
Farida Badi.
Farida Badi.
Come home by 4:30. It's afternoon. What are you
Crazy.
doing?
And maybe
It's
you knew these women as they were before they got married, and now you see a different side of them.
Oh yeah.
And you see that their partners are not being able to advocate for them.
Do you
or
feel
they're
like
going mum.
should I help my friend make his wife less oppressed?
If
You
I
have
were
to
to
get
give
that-
honest, if I were to give honest opinion to my friends, I'd be like, move out. Live close by, but don't live
Yeah.
together. You are actively complicating your life. You are underestimating how tricky the saas bahu dynamic is, no matter how good the saas or the bahu is.
Yeah.
Don't put them in the same house, and don't be in the same house with your father if you can't fight your father, because then you're just actively oppressing your own self.
Yeah.
Literally.
It's
Yeah.
just two oppressed people.
Exactly, and I think the boat is already missed by the time the decision comes.
Yeah.
So at the minute my father says, hey, you are not allowed to do this at 30 or 29 in my case, yeah, it was 10 years ago I should have scandalized him. 10 years ago I should have
Yeah.
pushed the boundary, made sure the rules are renegotiated. And for a lot of these guys, because I've known them all my life, I've been telling them, they won't believe my father.
Bhai jaake cigarette pee.
हाँ कि पता लग जाने दे.
Yeah.
Let him find out. It's okay.
Yeah.
डांट पड़ेगी ना. मेरे पापा को भी एक बार मिल गई थी ना मेरी सिगरेटें. तो फिर वो हैंडल हो गया ना. अब वहाँ पे the option was I could lie and say it's my friends, or I could be like हाँ मैं पी लेता हूँ. So that we get along and
Yeah.
understand he's an adult who makes his own choice. He's not going to be. I can suggest him at best, right? And all those things. So that dynamic has to be preset. It's very hard at 30.
It's such a it's almost shocking. Like, it blindsides me each time whenever I see my guy friends out and about. And I've seen them for ages, and they're these great people, and they're super like funny personality. And the minute I see them with their fathers,
Oh, you're so right.
bro,
It's embarrassing to
I
watch.
was like, who is this person? This guy has become a little shell of himself. And I'm
Yeah.
like, wait, we are all adults. Like, how did you miss the boat on?
Metaphorical castration.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's we have two lives. I don't know about girls, but guys, or at least I can speak for myself, I had two distinct lives. One
Yeah.
at home and one outside. And
Right.
outside is this fun guy who's now on the internet and whatever. My father saw a little bit of it and so kind of made peace with it. But even until अब मेरी शादी है ना, मैं expect कर रहा हूँ कि real illusion तो तब टूटेगा.
Yeah, but then you're allowed. At your wedding, you're allowed to do everything. Parents just shut their eyes.
Even मैं अपनी सगाई पे I was like पियो सब. So that my family knows what to expect at शादी.
Yeah.
And it had to happen slowly. My mother was a huge help because she insisted every day go fight with your father. When I would have conflict, she'd be like, go fight with him. मेरे को क्या बता रहा है आके? And so धीमे धीमे I started fighting with my father, and he started realizing Prakhar's growing into his own adult and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
But it happens because you want to play safe.
Yeah.
And when I was moving to America, this uncle who used to work for my father sat me down. I was visiting my dad in my office. He said, "Beta, now that you are, doing what you're going to do, your father will learn from you. Remember that. Now it's your job to take him into the future." And that really helped because another uncle was saying this to me.
Yeah.
Break the mold your father's produced and now take him beyond that. And I took that as like encouragement to that effect.
Smartest uncle ever.
Right? What a great advice.
Yeah. I love that it's just like the uncles talking amongst each other. It's just like, iske saath lad, iske saath lad.
Acha, and I think guys don't realize that their fathers are so much like them with their friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen my dad hang out with my friends. It's like me with my friends. So you can relate on that level. A father is so sick of playing the role of this perfect, non-edgy, I don't want to say bhenchod in front of my kid kind of character because he doesn't want to influence his boy or
Also,
girl.
if he calls you a benchod.
No, किसी और को बोल रहे यार. Like, my dad's allowed to say bhenchod to someone else.
I would be so upset if my dad said that to my brother.
Well, you gotta visit Faridabad, dude.
I would love to make a tour.
One house tour to another. It's actually, it's kind of weird for other people when they come to Faridabad. For instance, Apoorv, he showed up and I've known
Is
him.
our manager.
Yeah.
They have the same manager.
And Clau is Prakhar's fiance for anybody wondering.
Congratulations. Yeah.
Congratulations.
So, वो आया 15 साल से we know each other. We've hung out in Delhi for a lot, but he's never been to Faridabad until like a few months ago. And when he came, I was like, and he shits on Faridabad all the time. I understand. I was taking him around and I started showing him the houses that people have. And it makes no sense. It's literally palaces.
Yeah.
I know people who have 2 swimming pools in their house because one is not enough.
But do they have a pickleball court?
Yeah, I actually have friends who have pickleball courts in their own house.
Okay, I'm sold. Means what's that friend's height?
I don't know. I think 5 something.
Never mind.
It's
Say
fine.
no
How tall are
more.
you? How tall are you?
I'm 5'8".
So I need 5'10" and above.
Yeah.
I have no problem.
5'10" plus
You'll do
insole.
5'4"?
Yeah.
You have no problem with the shorter guy.
No.
You have a problem with shorter guy?
Not really.
Have you ever dated a shorter guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5'6" I've dated.
My own height, yeah.
Your own height, but shorter than you.
अरे मिलते नहीं है मतलब प्यार भी तो होना चाहिए. I can't just find some shorty on the road.
No, but have you ever gone out on a date with somebody who was shorter than you?
No one asked. Maybe he was intimidated.
I was just so basically I was watching some interview or something, and there was this girl. She was like she's never been asked out on a date, okay,
Yeah.
like in 10-15 years or something, and everyone wasn't believing her. Then I started thinking, and no one has ever asked me out on a
Rare.
date.
I can
on-
count on my fingers.
Yeah, which
It's a
is so
hack.
weird.
Like
What do you mean?
guys should totally walk up to girls and ask them out on dates.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, don't ask me now, but like I'm just like,
Now that I've given it away.
but I'm just like, is that not a thing? Like, do guys not ask women out on dates? Is that
Yeah, they
Am I-
don't. It's actually true.
Yeah.
And that's why Indians have a huge culture shock when they go across the Atlantic or even in Europe because, well, you can't just play friendly for 3 months on text and hope to land a date, which is
Yeah.
what strategy A for most guys in India is.
You have a cute smile.
How was your day? Like, I mean,
It was actually, no one has even asked me how my day was. Actually.
I don't know.
She's down bad.
I'm so down bad. No, you
How's
know,
how's your dating profile stuff happening?
no, I stopped using
Apps.
any dating app. Like I stopped like 6-7 months ago. I just was not interested because just like it's kind of weird because I'm not famous, but in Bombay people would know what I do at least peripherally, and I felt very naked going into these
No,
dates.
they'd make a story out of matching with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know, I wasn't dating guys that like know how to talk that much. Like I wasn't like if I was in like a rebound phase or whatever. But
Tell me more.
No, I'm done. I'm done with that phase, and I just haven't dated in like 6-7 months. But it's not like I haven't used a dating app, but no one has asked me out also. But then I was like, it's fine. I'm a non-sexual, non-dating, non-romantic being. Like,
That's so wholesome.
no, I'm just like, but not out of choice. I would just like to be so clear.
But don't ask me out.
Means the guy I like should ask me out, but I don't like any guy. So, who should I?
You're ruining your chances. If there was some guy who's gonna walk up after this, he's like, I don't know what signals
No,
these
it's
are.
okay.
It's
I'm not.
fine.
Oh no. One guy won't ask me. I'm fucked up. It's over for me.
Yeah, no, I don't think Indian guys are generally socialized to learn how to talk to girls IRL, and that
Tell
causes
them.
them a lot of.
Is there a sign that they would like from us?
Even if I tell them the sign, they would still not respond because I think girls also don't understand just how scary it is for guys to just walk up and say hello.
Girls just don't understand, guys.
No, I'm
It's very
not. Why
possible.
is it scary?
You know, they did this math. They did the survey on what is the biggest fear a guy has, and the biggest fear a guy generally has is being rejected by a good-looking girl. It's bigger than death. It's bigger than bears. It's bigger than speaking on stage. So it is the most scary because it's sexual rejection. It's rejection of your genes, something you can do nothing
But
about.
rejection is not personal.
Yeah, well, it really doesn't work like that. I mean, for guys, it's a very scary thought. And I had to learn how to do this so I know what a guy goes through in their head. I had a lot of friends who we all decided to be like, we have to learn this. Like, come on,
Yeah.
we're not going to be like scared about it.
Yeah.
And so I know a lot of guys' account on how scary it is to just go say hello.
I just find that like I'm just so confused.
Why?
I'm like,
Because I'm
then-
like, why we're like fucking Katy Perry's going to space and we're still figuring out how to.
go on a date.
It's not easy, dude. It's really not easy. Like in guys, and also girls like to make a game out of it because they'll ask you questions. For instance, if somebody were to walk up to you and say hello, they would know in the first 3 seconds how interested you are, and you'd generally not be interested.
If I'm
Generally.
not interested, I won't be interested.
But in that 3 second one, he's counted to God. Like he's gone from 1 to God very quickly. And that when that expression hits from you, where you've not said it, you're still being nice, but he knows you've rejected him, it hits some part in the back of your head.
So
And
give
it takes-
yourself a massage in a corner, leave.
See, this is exactly what I mean.
No, I don't get like,
You
I'm
know,
just-
now that I know guys are scared, if ever someone asks me, I'm gonna go, boo.
Bro, I'm telling you, I've been like a pick me my whole life, dude. If somebody, even if I had to reject someone and they came up to me and they spoke to me just by virtue of like how much I've pandered to men, there's no way it would take me at least 15 minutes to politely say, sir, I'm really sorry. My hand is promised in marriage. Otherwise, Tuesday we would be at Hoots.
No, it's still, I mean,
Can my husband come?
I still think it's a scary proposition, but I think
Okay.
guys should learn how to do it because
Tell
dating apps
our-
are worse.
Tell our audience how to do it.
I mean, I think the lowest common way of doing it. So there's indirect and direct. Indirect, you can start by asking for directions, for instance, right?
Yeah.
Like you could do this in New York
Excuse me,
City.
आपके दिल का address.
None of those, by the way, if guys don't know this, none of those pickup lines should be tried
Try.
over.
No, please try on me. Try some cheesy pickup line.
Damn.
It's like, wow, did you just fall? Are you hurt?
Noted.
Okay, what are some green flags in women? How can we be better?
Damn, you guys are really trying to be better, huh?
better.
I
Yeah.
like that about you.
भाई 3-4 साल से therapy कर रहे
तब भी कहीं नहीं पहुंचे.
You think, what
Have
do you
you
mean?
ever quit therapy? Have you ever been like, okay,
Yeah.
हो गया?
My therapist was doing too much bakkad. I was like, I
I was like,
can't.
मैं आप खुद बात करने का पैसा दे रही हूँ, ठीक है? सुनने का पैसा नहीं दे रही मैं.
When the jokes dried up, we
But he
was no
stopped
longer
laughing.
No, because it's a very important question to ask people who do therapy. Have you ever quit it? In that, have you ever gotten to the end of it? And
Yeah.
most people haven't.
I mean, end means then 6 months later I came back.
Sure, but
Yeah.
at least there was a time in your life where you were like, maybe I don't need to talk to someone.
Yeah, yeah.
Because you
I
can.
never need to talk to someone. I just need friends.
Therefore, I put a microphone in front of my face.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
I just
much.
wanted to talk to someone. Please,
Yeah.
someone just hear me.
Wait 1 second. You do podcasting because you like attention, nah?
I'm okay with attention.
What do you like?
What do you do podcasting for?
I think it's the only thing I can see myself doing right now. I think I'm very picky and I cannot see myself doing most things. I get bored very quickly. This is something that's new every day. I like the fact that I get to build a business, think about how I want to move these pieces. It's also very cutting edge. Like there's no playbook, which makes it very, very fun.
But what would stop you from putting someone else in front of a mic and then you be the producer? You're still around the same content.
No, because it's my strength. I think I'm very good at this. It's a very pragmatic choice and also very accidental in that I fell into it. I didn't think I'd be here. It was just one accident after the other. And I was like, fuck, let's do this. But I don't really have a kick out of fame. A little bit, but not too much.
You can't just fall into podcasting. It takes so much effort.
No, it doesn't. The setting up of the organization takes a lot of effort.
Yeah.
Yeah. That part.
Like to
that-
keep it going. I mean, say so many podcasts came up in the last year, right? Everyone's like, I like this thing. I think I'm good at it. Let me put myself here. But you know that 5-10 episodes later, your finances are drying up. The organization is testing. The amount of content, the cuts of content that you have to put up, like that race is so hardcore. It's not the easy job.
No, it's not. But the alternative is worse for me, which is like, I don't want to end up in a position where I'm completely like, when I first started, I started because I didn't want to do my family stuff. I didn't want to work around my father and risk more fighting. And then it stopped being the case, but then something else became the case. I did it because I loved watching Joe Rogan myself. I was alone in New York for a long period of time and I would listen to him. So it was accidental in that way. Only in 2023, towards the end, 24, towards the beginning, I was like, I'll do this by design. I know how to play this. I wrote enough documents. I understand how YouTube as a platform works, Instagram as a platform works. Now I want to see if I can.
Spotify.
Bro,
A little bit.
can I say my hot take?
Yeah.
This is my hot take. You know, when a group of friends are sitting together in a room and they're cracking jokes and they have that realization, bro, yahan mic hota na bhenchod faad dete hai. I was like, no, don't start a podcast. Wrong motivation. Because you think you're fucking interesting. You're not. You're not.
So much for self-esteem.
No, I'm saying you're missing out on the fact that the podcasting is not about like the mic set up in front of you. It's about the audience on the other side first, always, forever. And you have to like... Are you saying no?
I'm saying
You say
hi.
Hi. And you have to cater first and only to them. It's not about how interesting you are to yourself or how many jokes you crack with your friends.
And most of the things you say to your friends, you'll probably never say on the internet if
Yeah.
you meant something.
Yeah.
One of the surest ways of telling who's relevant and who's not is how little can someone speak.
Yeah.
It's a very weird inverse rule about public popularity in India. But the lesser you're allowed to speak means that is how much more you're relevant.
I have to speak a lot.
Maybe you guys will break the mold. I mean this, I'm not joking.
No, so
You're
I'll
very
tell you when
interesting.
we speak a lot, we speak in this room, we speak a lot. But
Yeah.
but that's because it's between you and I, and we're trying to overcompensate for the silence, etc.
No, I'll give you an example. Say something about politics. Say anything political.
Yeah, I can't speak about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this game be that.
It do be like that.
It do be like that sometimes.
It do be like that, and nobody wants it. Like the right conversation in India is not cancel culture; it's self-censorship. That's the real
Yeah.
adjustment.
That's true.
But I do think the self-censorship is because of the cancel culture. See, chashme utar de means it's getting serious.
Nahi yaar, I'm still not used to wearing these, so I take them off.
It's like,
every
I
now and then.
can't see anymore.
Why?
Sorry, you can take them off.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Why do boys think women are nags? And why can't they just
say
hear?
I love that whenever some male guest comes on the podcast, then I was like, I need to know these.
I'm going to
answers.
ask
They're
questions I can't
stuck.
ask my therapist
Yeah, they're
straight up.
stuck on a camera.
I can't spend therapy money on this question, yeah?
Yeah, right.
ये free meeting जो
Hey, how
हमारी
much you pay for therapy?
I pay quite a bit.
Really?
Yeah.
And is it worth it?
Yeah.
Have you done a ROI analysis कि मैंने अगर
Yeah,
5 लाख रुपए खर्चे हैं तो worth it थे कि नहीं?
भाई मैं अभी खड़ी हूँ therapy.
Oh, अच्छा. So
And
would you say you were a
bag
2
aa
on 10
jayega.
before and now you're a 5 on 10, or like
I
what's the
think she's a
movement?
10 on 10.
I can't.
I agree, but in a different
I
context.
can't
Bombay.
commodify my.
Andheri. On Veera Desai Road, she's a 10.
All the roadies live in Andheri, sweetie, and
It's a tough
In
mark.
Bandra, she's like an 8, but like
yeah.
if you go to Parel, I can't say.
She who is sitting right here.
With the chashma, वैसे you look like a 10 on 20.
मुझे सब कुछ दिखता है माँ. Just yeah. What's the question? 2
Put
on
it
10,
on,
5
now
on
I'm-
10 therapy.
Yeah.
I can't commodify like that. I can tell. Yeah, I if I was 0 before, I'm on 10 now.
Damn, that's great.
Yeah,
Let's fucking go.
What's the multiple between 0 and 10?
means
Like how many times have you improved?
I've improved 100, 200. I was a simulation before. I'm a human now.
Damn. It's like Westworld.
Yeah, fully.
Yeah.
This AI has feelings.
You go for therapy?
I have in the past, not for a
So
few
are you
years.
healed?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I did about 6 months in 2018. And then one day I was like, fuck, I'm okay. And that was a very interesting light bulb moment because when I went in, I didn't think I'd be okay. And then the second time I did right before my only depressive episode hit. Or maybe they were the same. I don't remember. It's been 5-7 years. But yeah, that's the only time I've done
I
it.
think the only okay thing is that, okay, I feel like I'm qualified and capable to handle my problems now. It doesn't mean that you're infallible, or it doesn't mean that you're
No,
suddenly
yeah.
strong 100% of the time.
Like you have the tools to deal with what life
Listen,
throws at
why
you.
don't men go to therapy, man? I begged so many
Because it's
people.
not their style.
So what is their style?
Working out's better.
But then they
Bhai,
hit people on the road.
Sure, anger is a different problem than sadness. Which one are we talking about here?
Any problem
No,
that
I'm
doesn't...
saying sad. Like men going to therapy is not just for being sad, right? It has to be with like you need tools to deal with the world. Like working out, sure, gives you gains. It doesn't make you.
No. That's
It
what
can
I'm
give-
talking
okay,
about. There's a
it can give you
huge difference.
confidence. It can
How?
give you self-worth, right? Is that...
No.
No?
So my hypothesis is that the way women deal with mental complications is very different from how guys deal with mental complications.
Sure.
The
So
right and the wrong.
sure. But I mean, there was a certain point where talking about it was important so I could hear myself.
Yeah.
But that's not generally what my mental affliction is today.
Yeah.
Right? And a session of, you know how guys say break open a cold one or whatever, that whole beer analogy, and video games is far more precious. Like if my friend has a breakup, he does not need to talk to me about it. He'll come over, we'll sit down, I'll be like, Katwalia, we'll both laugh about it. And in that moment, so much is processed.
Right, but women do the same thing, except we also find that 1 hour between like whatever our activity is to go and actually process the feeling rather than like, I think like the Katwalia and all is funny, but you can only do that like when you're like processing it also rather than suppressing it.
No, there's two parts to it.
Yeah.
So, first, I am not convinced every feeling needs to be processed, and I'm not convinced either of you have processed all the feelings of all the major things that happen in your life. And number two, you have to understand from a guy's position, most situations put him to a test of action, not to a test of processing.
I don't even see the action.
Well, that's a separate problem
Yeah.
altogether. But the answer is again not necessarily therapy. That's exactly why. And this is a question I ask everybody who goes to therapy. When do you think will you be done with it? Because I cannot make this a constant loop where I pay somebody to talk to me and barely be interested hour over hour every week with no end game in mind. And that's also why for guys, decidedly after 10 years, and guys have tried, I've tried, I know all my friends, most of them have gone to therapy. It's not worked.
Okay, so just to preface, I do think that you can go into it with an end goal. And you
You
don't
can,
yeah.
I agree.
And I'm saying whatever works for you, whether sitting with your friends over beer works for you, whether going to the gym works for you, and I'm not even saying this has to do with another person, but you in your own life to survive need to have some kind of emotional
Grip over
mental
yourself.
toolkit.
I agree.
Your tool cannot be a brick. You're doing yourself a disservice.
You cannot punch the wall and expect it to solve your problems. You
Yeah.
cannot drink your problems away. You cannot drive your problems away. Sure, I agree. And so, in some places, and I can think of many men in my life who should have talked about it.
And I'm saying even more because like patriarchy is not going anywhere. You will inadvertently have so much weight of the world on you. You'll have your parents on you. You'll feel all these things in a much bigger way than we as women can feel. Even more reason why you need the most stable foundation to be able to deal with your life. It's never about like, oh, मेरा उससे breakup हो गया, उसने मेरा कटवा दिया, ठीक है.
No,
Like,
so I think one part of it I agree with, that there is going to be the weight of the world on you and you have to learn how to deal with it, and therefore you need a stable mind.
Yeah.
Which goes back to my point about working out and why that's helpful, or meditation, or why that's more helpful. I also think the way men like to, I think it's a more isolated act for men. I think lifting's not about the muscle I put on. It's about defeating that inner, I don't want to do it today, all this inner sort of leakages that my monologue has.
so when does
Lifting
that
is always about the gains. I would like to.
when does
It can
that,
be, huh?
when does that feeling, whatever you achieve from working out,
Is an example.
no,
working
I'm saying
out.
whatever.
Huh.
When does that transfer to the other relationships in your life? Like when I do therapy, it makes a direct reflection to my relationships. Like for example, if I'm an anxious attachment style, I will be less anxious. I'll be less burdensome on my partner by saying, "Do you love
But
me?"
may I-
6 times a day.
How do you know that? Can you measure that
Yeah.
you've become less anxious and less?
She says it only 3 times a day now.
Yeah.
So you can
No,
measure it.
of course you can measure it.
But and how long did it take for you to go from 6 to 3, for instance, in this example?
I mean, honestly, it's an ongoing thing. You get better at the reaction.
But when does it get to 0?
I think it gets to 0 in a couple of years. It depends again. It's person to person specific.
And you see how that promise is not enticing to a guy at all. Because for me, if you were to come and tell me, listen, your anxiety needs solution, and I were to be like, so how long do you think this will solve this in? And you tell me it depends, maybe 5 years. I'm like, I'd much rather
Be anxious?
Or no, much rather get drunk. And I'm not saying it's a healthier solution
Yeah.
to the problem, but I think in this whole discourse about patriarchy, or for that matter, therapy, I think girls miss, or women miss, the fact that the urgency of action in a guy's life is so paramount that waiting is also acting
Right,
But
by
that-
omission.
Honestly, that feels so contradictory to action. And I think a lot of women can say it feels so contradictory because you're constantly waiting on your partner to do certain things. And if they were so much about the action, then the action would be done.
And I believe you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know what place you are speaking about this from, because it seems like you have a certain context and a
Yeah.
certain imagination, and I cannot share that.
Yeah.
But I'm not saying guys take the healthy route. I'm saying that predisposition
Yeah.
is towards methods that they know kind of work for them.
I will say if the gym is a guy's escape, then they need to do a clapping push-up with me on their back. Like that is
Pretty
my
much.
But
hot take.
even-
Like, I'm so sorry.
You know
like
what?
you either show me action like that, or
Yeah.
you fucking lift me like that.
I think my hot take is a guy's like whatever, the way they fix themselves is the M-Seal type solution to a leakage.
Okay.
Means where are the
My-
abs?
Like why you can still see the water kind of draining through the wall. The seepage is still there.
Sure, maybe sometimes,
Yeah.
maybe a lot of times. But my hot take is that I am okay to hear you tell me about therapy if it actually worked for you.
It did.
But well, show me.
Show me.
Yeah, because it would have ended if it did,
That's
right?
true.
So, and I'm saying that this discourse gets very complicated because you can blame either side, right? Like
No,
guys
no,
will
but
sit
I'm
together.
blaming every.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying because
No,
it's a
no,
very
sorry,
sensitive
sorry.
line in the guy-girl dynamic. I'm not.
Yeah. No, I'm saying like in the sense that we're not even like, so you know how like relationships, straight relationships.
I love how we roll the R in a relationship
I felt like she was trying to do that too.
No, I
to
was.
like make
But
it
I'm
easier.
saying like in the sense that there is always like there's these gendered things that come up pretty often for most people, and we're not saying like you are the spokesperson for all men, like you're in a
Right.
happy healthy relationship and we're very happy for you. We're just asking like because you probably have more
Insight into a guy's
unfiltered interactions with men,
right.
so
Yeah.
we're like, oh, what's going on with those guys? Meaning, have you spoken to my ex and asked him what his problem?
I did actually. He texted me on the way. He was like,
No.
"तू क्यों कर रहा है? छोड़ इस सबको."
My observation, and it's not a you versus us or men versus women thing. It's that it's really sad because in a new world where there is so much vocabulary available that our parents didn't have and our grandparents didn't have, where there's so much space to course correct, we're actually becoming even more isolated as genders.
Let me do you one better and make it something that I think will hit men. I think you guys are missing out on all the beauty of life because you're so gray inside from not processing your shit. I think that's really the whole thing is that you don't see joy the way you used to when you were kids because it's fucking jaded you. Life's made it, you scarred so much, and I completely understand it was not easy. I get it. But it scarred you so much you've forgotten what it feels like to feel joy. And you can't let that be. And we get into phases like that. I've been in year-long phases like that. But getting out of it, man, that's what it's about. Like it just, I'm glad I had the courage to walk on. And so, yeah.
Do you have the same?
Do it again.
High five properly.
Yeah, crazy. That was amazing to watch.
So coordinated. You guys have such charm.
Same manager.
Very reflective of our predisposition here.
I was gonna say Naina and I often speak, and I think that relationships only work if the guy is more in love with the girl than the girl
You know,
is
guys
with the
think
guy.
the complete opposite on this.
I
Like the
know.
manosphere advice is a relationship will only work if she loves you more than you love her.
I
That's
guess a
balls.
relationship with us will only work.
No, it's 1 second. No,
No, for most women.
Like most women think like because you know it just makes sense because women will do a lot of stuff out of duty and love, but guys don't have a sense of duty and
You're
like
dating
a-
shitty men.
No, I'm not. I'm actually dating damn nice men.
But they don't have a sense of duty.
No, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking
Okay,
about
generally.
generally.
No,
I'm
I
very
think-
happy.
I think,
being single as fuck.
If anything, guys are propelled out of duty so much more that they can't even tell what they. I think the problem is they don't know what they like because they've been doing duty for so long.
Yeah, but I'm saying like guys have this thing where it's like, oh, I won't submit to this woman. Like she can't know how much I like her. वो काट के चली जाएगी. So they like
That's
hold
insecurity.
back.
That's fear.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
fear.
But I think most guys do have that insecurity. When
क्योंकि कोई काट के गई है.
but एक लड़की
हमारा
काट के
भी
जाए
कटा
हाँ, तो तुम भी तो फिर
कटता तो सबका है.
तो तभी तो तुम भी बैठ के बातें कर रहे हो. Same. You are also saying ना what guys this and that.
But
It's the same
हमारे
reaction.
में हम गलती हमारी नहीं थी.
मेरे को भी पता है. मेरे सारे friends उनकी गलती नहीं थी.
Do you have any questions?
But
for-
you actually genuinely mother swear believe it wasn't your friend's fault.
Yeah, I'd fucking kill for them.
But that's not the point. The
Yeah,
point is
it
if
doesn't
Naina's
matter.
being a gandu, I'll tell her. But guys don't tell each other.
After.
We had to take a little break because ज़्यादा बकवास हो रहा था. Wanted to come back with a strong question. Why is body count such an issue?
You were asking about green flags and red flags. And I'm going to give the most autistic explanation for this, which is that if you were to treat dating as a marketplace with supply and demand graphs, and you were to evaluate whether the prospect I'm interested in is high value or low value, and if the only available signal is from the past, because I'm only meeting you now, I've heard 10 words from you, and that's about it. It would sound or seem like having a high body count for a woman means she's very promiscuous, which does
It
not.
may-
Huh?
Wouldn't it mean more like she's better at talking
But
to
you see, this is.
people?
Did you come across this debate recently? I don't know if you guys use X, but there was this guy who's standing, and then there's a picture of him with lesser body fat. He's more ripped, and there was a poll around it. Which one's more attractive, right? And the way this guy structured his poll was: before is more attractive male, after is more attractive male, before is more attractive female, and after is more attractive female, which means he was trying to ascertain what males prefer and what females prefer of these two pictures. And women would prefer the guy to be less ribbed by a lot, like 90-10% distribution. And this got a whole debate going about which one is more attractive. Are women lying? Are women saying guys be fat, it's okay, when they prefer guys who are much more ripped? And it's actually what's happening is this is a guy's idea of what a good looking guy looks like when he's super ribbed like a sausage, every ab is showing and so on. A woman's idea of what a good looking guy has much more to do with behavior than looks. If he's relaxed in the way he's standing, if he's smiling a little bit, if he's not very tense and flexy, right? Like that's probably much more attractive to a woman than necessarily a very jacked sausage looking guy. There is a reverse phenomena for this where women think heavy makeup is attractive and guys will be like, oh, I just like your smile when you're not wearing a makeup. And I think what's happening there is guys are not lying. They genuinely don't care for how much makeup's on your face. But women care for how much makeup is on her competitor's face. And so women play their own game. It's a woman's idea of what a better looking woman is. Very often when women get cosmetic treatments, guys will be like, that's not attractive to me. The fake breasts, generally not attractive to guys, right? But it's a woman's idea of what a good looking woman is. And this is the same case where it's a woman's idea of what a better man is if he has more experience. And a guy...
I want a virgin.
You want a virgin?
I'm joking. No, I'm saying like, I don't think I care about body count, whether it's in men or women. I think only insecure men actually care about body count.
Yeah, I think you have to give men their due. It's not really all that much of insecurity. If you were talking about a driver situation, if the guy is a pickpocket in the past, you're a little worried if he's going to be a pickpocket in the future. That's really it.
Okay.
So is that if the past indicates that you've been promiscuous. If you and I were on a date and you told me you cheated on your ex with some other guy. So I'm not going to ask you, but did you cheat on any of the 20 guys you hooked up with? I'm just going to be like 20 and she's 24. So 6 years and 20. And I'll do the math, whatever is okay by me. I'll be like, oh, this is too much.
But does body count I feel like if body count comes up on the first date, then that's because of insecurity.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I mean, I don't care about body count on the first date. You're just getting to know this person. Thoda to ruk ja, naam to pooch le.
Like cheating should come much before. Like, it's not like I know this person has hooked up with 20 people. Maybe they have cheated on their partners. I'm thinking like, oh, they have cheated on their partners. I don't care if they've dated 100 people for one day or like cheated on one partner.
I have a question. How many girls do you know have forgiven their boyfriends or husbands for sexually cheating on them?
None of them.
A bunch.
Right?
Yeah.
And would it be worse if you found your boyfriend buying flowers and emotionally being available for someone else as opposed to physically hooking up?
It's all the same.
It's all the same.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Means if he smiles at another girl, I'm like...
Yeah, because I think guys care about sexual promiscuity a lot more and women care about emotional promiscuity a lot more than guys care about emotional promiscuity.
So you're telling me if your friends were seeing people or like you were seeing someone and they got flowers from someone or they gave someone flowers, you'd be like, it's fine, whatever.
If my wife was to give her old friend from school flowers because they met in... I won't think twice about it. Whatever, it's flowers. Fuck, right? But if I saw them even remotely with their hands too near, that would begin the loop of insecurity. I think for girls, if you saw me give flowers to someone else, if Klaus saw it, she'd be like, what the fuck is happening right here?
I mean, depends on the context also.
Yeah, I think emotional cheating is a bigger deal for women than it is for men. That's what I'm trying to say. And sexual cheating is a way bigger deal for men than it is for women. Men rarely ever forgive if a woman has been sexually, if she's cheated.
Sure.
But women overwhelmingly. Like, it's a joke. She'll fight, she'll throw a tantrum, and then eventually she'll be like, you know what, I'll take him back. And it's just the dumbest thing you can do. But that happens.
To all the women watching, this is literally how men talk about y'all when y'all take someone back after cheating. It's not worth it. It's my worst fear, you know.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
not worth it.
If I'm ever giving advice to my female, I'm like, why are you letting
Yeah.
this happen? Unless you have under exceptional guarantee that this was a one-off thing and he made a mistake, maybe I can begin having this conversation. Because a lot of people are also married at that point. You know, they have kids.
But it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but divorce is also not very simple.
Means fucking someone else is also not very simple.
No, but
It
there is.
happens,
But you have to be pragmatic, and there's lesser of two evils sometimes. So I'm giving them the due here when I'm talking about it at a large general
I'm
level.
saying like, sure, what happens and what should, like, I'm saying like, if
Agreed.
someone watching this is like watching this, I'm like, yeah, okay, I understand that I'm not able to leave. I'm saying like, you're always able to leave in most
No,
situations.
no, you have to be very realistic about it, Sakshi. You
How?
have no
I don't
idea.
think so.
Have you sat through a divorce? Have you heard someone go through a divorce?
Yeah.
Damn. Like for women particularly, their fathers will refuse to accept them because they're like, I didn't plan for this
Of
amount of
course,
money.
I'm not saying like obviously it's a huge thing in the country, but I'm not discounting that it's very hard for people to leave. But then I'm saying like to kind of sit here and be like in this very privileged room to sit and be like it's very hard when for us it's not hard, and maybe sometimes our experiences give courage to women in similar situations where they know that at the end of the day if they see someone like me, I'm not gonna be like, yeah babe, stick it out with
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to learn to be because I have seen divorces where she cannot take her child back because she
Of
has no
course,
money. You get
I
what I'm talking about.
understand
It gets
that.
very complicated.
I'm not saying I don't understand that. I'm just saying like that's not because like, oh, women don't care about promiscuity.
No, they do.
Yeah,
They do,
that's what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying. I'm saying that's because they don't have a choice.
Yeah, which is worse.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think I have an observation and I want your I want your help with this. So I find that a lot, like whenever I've been with somebody, they have been able to suss out who are the weird men around me who are trying to
Hit on you and you
hit
don't
on-
see it.
And I don't see
Yeah.
it. And over time I found like actually men are a little bit manipulative when they're trying to like come on to you with their agendas and stuff.
Yeah.
What are those qualities and how
They'll be
can
over friendly. Right? Like a guy. See,
like what do you see when you see a guy with bad intentions around your partner, and what does your partner not see?
I think there's data on this.
What do you see?
I'll tell you. So they did math on this to find
X-figure.
out how many guys consider their relationships with their female friends platonic and how many females consider
Yeah.
their relationship. And it's like 80% females think platonic and guys are like at 40 or something. So it's twice. And one of the strategies for men in trying to date is to pretend to be friendly until that moment arrives. And this
Right.
is known in some kind of fish, puffer fishes. Puffer fishes are big fishes, if I remember this correctly, and the females are smaller. So some male fishes that are smaller will pretend to be female, join the crew, eventually show their true colors, impregnate, and get the fuck out. And so this is the human version of that, where I'm your friend. How are you doing? Like, are you okay? Did you eat? This kind of nonsense. And this is only to wait for that moment where you're vulnerable enough to probably, you know. So it's a strategy. It's a weak strategy. No guy should ever do it. And what women are not seeing is they're taking the men for their word.
How dare we?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Take
what
a
are you
man for his
supposed?
word.
Are you supposed to be a detective?
No, I think you should take most. Like if you and I met under a context where we are single, and if I would, okay, not you and I, maybe say you both people met under a context where you're single, and if I was your friend, I tell you treat everything as leading up to that point in his head, unless you know for sure otherwise.
But if men can tell other men's intentions so well, then how come like when their friends are being creepy, it's like I never saw anything.
Yeah, I don't know about
He's
that.
a
I can't answer for
molester?
that.
What?
I can't answer for that. But yeah, men can smell that around their partners and other girls also. Like you always know he's hitting on you. You just don't see it yet. And sometimes girls have this too. Like Clara will be like, "This girl was hitting on you. You didn't see it." And I'll be like, "Yeah, I didn't realize. Really?" But it's just a fucking smile. I'm not reading into that smile. I'm not reading into the fact that she's saying, "Oh, but haha, he, whatever." She can spot it. So it's both ways.
So the thing is that no one can stop anybody from hitting on anyone. It's not illegal. But a lot of sometimes the tendency is, I've faced it a lot, like in the past in many relationships, where the guy's like somehow holding me responsible for what somebody else's actions are. And I'm like, what can I do in this situation?
It's like,
Yeah.
it's not my
Like,
fault.
should
my
I not
ass
walk
is
on?
so fat.
Yeah, it's not my fault. My ass is so fat.
Yeah, I think that's stupid. Because you're not solving a problem, you're creating one more.
Yeah, and if you think you can be the chowkidar of your relationship, and when you're sleeping, there's like opportunity for failure.
And I think guys are not realizing they're also slightly beginning to push away their partner at that point. By trying to hold her in, you're just making it less attractive.
Yeah.
The glue becomes weaker.
No, but if you're in that place of insecurity, then one would argue maybe you should move to greener pastures, like go to leave this relationship. Your relationship should bring you peace. If it's not bringing you peace,
Yeah, or maybe just have a real ass conversation with yourself and with her.
yeah.
Like really talk out your insecurity, go through it. Get reassurance if there is some. And if you cannot, guys also treat it such that insecurity is a base state of existence. अब मैं हूँ insecure, लड़का हूँ ना, होऊंगा ही, but उससे उसको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. तो हो सकता है पढ़ भी रहा हो, तेरी जिंदगी तो खत्म होगी ना bro. Like you're always in your head imagining something you don't want to imagine. That's on you.
Yeah.
I'm not even placing moral blame. Look at who's enjoying life more. She doesn't know. She's doing her thing. She's probably out there making cupcakes, bro. But in your head, you're like, वो उस लड़के के साथ गई होगी. So it's fucking on you, bro. Like,
Why
you
is
need to
that
get rid of
just
that.
pure fact?
It is.
Just
हाँ, so you're making your life worse. And girls have a version of that too. I'm sure. You
yeah,
can
of
tell me,
course.
yeah.
Both sexes are fucked, and this is
And
not
that
the.
is I think that's the realest thing that's been said. And
Wow, we're so deep. Guys,
know
I think
what?
we're good at this.
yeah,
You know,
crazy. What a great time to be alive, and what a great discussion.
Thank you.
That we have to unfortunately end because we all have a meeting to get to.
We have a
But-
All of us together. Huh?
We
Yeah.
have a thing.
Yeah, we have a thing, guys.
Guys, by the way, if you like this shirt, check out My Morni on Instagram.
If you like this t-shirt and this top, check out Studio Picante on Instagram. Damn.
You're promoters of clothes.
And my
Because we
socks
make
are
them
from
look good.
Kava. Anyone
Thank
cares.
you so much, Sakshi. Thank you
and-
so much, Prakhar.
Gang, it's so
Gang.
amazing being with you guys here.
We have with
You're
us
the best at what you do.
a Farida Badi, and you want to plug your channel?
No, it's okay.
Okay.
People probably know me.
Okay. Spread a
Okay.
Reddit post about him. He likes that. Follow this channel, subscribe, and leave us a comment, review us, and we'll see you next
We
week.
love y'all.
Bye, babies.
Bye.